One person got lost in the forest. He wandered for a long time and in the end, at dusk, came across a hut. There was no one inside, and he decided to go to bed. But he could not fall asleep for a long time, because portraits of some people hung on the walls, and it seemed to him that they were looking at him ominously. He eventually fell asleep from exhaustion. In the morning, he was awakened by bright sunlight. There were no pictures on the walls. They were windows. The 12-year-old girl lived with her father. They had a great relationship. One day, my father was going to stay late at work and said that he would return late at night. The girl waited for him, and finally went to bed. She had a strange dream. Her father was standing on the other side of a busy highway and was shouting something to her. She barely heard the words, "Don't open the door." And then the girl woke up from the call. She jumped out of bed, ran to the door, looked through the peephole, and saw her father's face. The girl was about to open the lock as she remembered the dream, and the father's face was somehow strange. She stopped. The bell rang again.
Dad? Daddy, answer me. Is there someone with you? Dad, why aren't you answering? The girl almost cried.
I won't open the door until you answer me. The doorbell rang and rang, but my father was silent. The girl sat huddled in the corner of the hallway. This went on for about an hour. Then the girl fell into oblivion. At dawn, she woke up and realized that the doorbell was no longer ringing. She crept up to the door and looked through the peephole again. Her father was still standing there, looking straight at her. The girl cautiously opened the door and screamed. Her father's severed head was nailed to the door at eye level. Attached to the doorbell was a note with only 2 words: "Smart girl." Somehow, a married couple decided to go to the cinema and leave the children with a babysitter. They put the children to bed, so the young woman just had to stay at home just in case. Soon the girl became bored, and she decided to watch TV. She called her parents and asked them for permission to turn on the TV. Naturally, they agreed, but she had one more request. She asked if she could cover the statue of an angel outside the window with something, because it made her nervous. For a second, the phone went silent. And then the father, who spoke to the girl, said, "Take the children and run out of the house. We will call the police. We don't have a statue of an angel." The police found everyone at home dead. Angel statue never found. The little boy slept in his bed at night. Suddenly he hears footsteps outside the door and looks through the peephole to see what's going on. It swings open, and the killer enters carrying the corpses of his parents. After he put them on a chair, the killer wrote something with the blood of the dead on the wall and then hid under the child's bed. The child was terribly scared. He can't read the message on the wall and knows the man is under his bed. The child, like all children, began to pretend to be asleep. He still lies and hears the breath of the killer from under the bed. An hour passes and his night vision improves. The child tries to make out the words, but it is difficult. The next words made his breath stop. "I know you're awake." He feels that something is moving under the bed. This day was very ordinary, and it went on as usual as the previous days. It was nighttime, and it was time to go to bed. I closed the window because it was beginning to rain, and lightning flashed once in a while. Turning off the light, I went to bed. After a moment, I fell asleep. I had a strange dream. I was walking through the forest, and it was very gloomy outside. Suddenly, I found myself in a cemetery. In the distance, I saw people walking. It was a funeral procession. I walked towards them. As I got closer, I began to recognize friends, acquaintances, and even relatives in those people. Everyone stopped by the grave. I didn't understand what was happening, why no one noticed me. I made my way through the crowd to see who was being buried, and was frozen in horror when I saw the coffin. It was me in it. It was my funeral. There was a loud clap of thunder, and I woke up. My heart was racing, and it was hard to breathe. I thought, thank God I'm awake. I can't believe I'm dreaming. The thunder sounded again. I continued to lie there. The room was very dark for some reason, even though there was always a lantern shining outside my window. Maybe because of the thunderstorm it doesn't work, I thought. I was very thirsty, so I tried to get up, but it was in vain. A new wave of terror and panic came over me. I was not in my room. It was a cramped wooden box, and now it was clear that I was lying in a coffin. I had actually been buried. I screamed, begged for help, pounded my hands as hard as I could on the lid, but it was too late. There was no more strength to resist. The air was running out. It was all over.
Dying was very scary.